Do you use OTRS and want to move or migrate to Zendesk? Then this is your video. I'll demonstrate a short demo of a converter that will help you to automatically, easily and fast migrate from OTRS to Zendesk. Let's look at this results first. If you have an OTRS system that works, you simply want to have everything that you have in your OTRS system within Zendesk. And this is exactly what the converter does. So let's look at the results. This is a ticket. Please excuse German content. The test system and the test data just comes from a German OTRS system. So here's a request that was public, and then there's an internal command and another request, and they date from August 2011. I just created this test instance here a couple of minutes ago, so this has actually been imported. Let's look at a view here. This is a list of imported tickets that we have. So all tickets with the right status from the OTRS system have been imported. Then I have people inside here, like end users, 57 end users, and a couple of agents, 31, and a couple of groups, and so on. So everything that you have in your OTRS instance can move to Zendesk. And now let's look how we do that. First of all, I'm going to reset my test sandbox here to show you the whole process. So what you want to do is you want to create a sandbox in Zendesk to test this out first before you kind of import data in your live Zendesk instance. So if you don't have Zendesk yet, you have to create a Zendesk account, and then you can create a sandbox. And I just reset it so that it'll be empty. Now I have a URL here with a number, and let me quickly log in. So where's my login? Seibert at 20 feet, here it is. So that should, hey, sorry, gotta search for this password. Sorry for making you wait. So here it is. So this is my email address, and this is my password. Now I can connect here. Yeah, save that. Okay, so if I now go in here, my test instance, I have only one sample ticket, and I have no end users, and I have only a couple of agents that have been automatically created when I created this sandbox. So let's so what we have to understand is this is an empty sandbox now, and now I'm going to my OTRS instance to import the data. So this is my OTRS instance, and actually it's an old one. Let me give you an impression. So this is version 2.4.11. I don't know how outdated it is, but there are a couple of updates. So the converter works for all of these versions. OTRS version 1, 2, and 3, and all the subversions that you see here that I could have updated to are supported by the converter. So what you do is you go to the admin area, and then you go to the package manager, and there you can upload packages or plugins, however you call them. Here you can choose a file and upload them. To be able to do that, you have to download the file first, and I'll show you real quick where you can download the files. So if you have OTRS versions 1 or 2, you want to type in seibert.biz/OTRS 1 or 2 for OTRS versions 3 and above, maybe 4.0 comes out one day, seibert.biz/OTRS3 is your link. So you simply type that in, and then you can download the file. And it's in an OPM file. I won't do that because it's dull. So you simply use the file, upload it, and that's it. And then you get a link, which is the Zendesk exporter. So you click there, and then you get to a page. Please read this carefully to find out where the limitations. Actually, it's rather limitations of OTRS that we had to take into account are, and what you have to do to prepare that. I won't go through that with you right now. Actually, it's a multiple step process. I think it's 8 or 9 steps. And at first, the converter collects some data. You can download it or open the download list, but we won't do that. So we go to the next step. Then the converter asks me, and please be gracious because it's an OTRS to Zendesk migration, not the other way around. We'll correct that. And eventually it's going to be pretty. At the moment it's quite ugly, but that's not the reasoning for this video. So what we need here is our Zendesk credentials. Let's take this URL here. Actually, it's quite smart. You can also have a longer URL and it will cut out what it needs. So let's see. No SSL used here. Let me go back to my password and fetch that real quick again. So this is my email address. And this is my password. And then I check and save. And then this is important. You won't get to this page if the access isn't okay. So I provided the correct data. So now the converter will get data from Zendesk so that it won't pop up with unnecessary errors. Like it'll download what is in Zendesk already. Not all tickets, for example, but users and stuff. So this wasn't too much of work here because it's an empty sandbox, right? So we go to the next steps. And now this is very, very important. You have to disable all triggers and automations in Zendesk. If you don't do that, let me try to emphasize this. You have to disable all triggers and automations. If you don't do that, you'll send out a lot of emails to customers and they will feel like, hey, this was years ago, right? Why are you sending this again to me? And why are you sending like all the hundreds of mails that we had in conversation again and again to me? I don't need to know this again. I know you solved this problem years ago and that's it. And it's going to be very awkward if you don't do that. So I'm going to show you real quick how to do that in Zendesk. So what you're going to do is in your sandbox, you go to triggers and mail notifications. And in a standard system, you have these triggers here. It's very easy. You simply click on deactivate for all the triggers. And this is maybe dull, but it's definitely necessary. And I also recommend that you deactivate your automations. They, in a lot of cases, they don't fire emails, but they still can fire, and you don't want to have any changes during your import process. So now all triggers and automations are deactivated. This is so important. Please make sure that you do that before you import data. Otherwise, your customers will get a lot of emails. Okay, then what you also need is a so-called support group, a group that is called support. Actually, in a standard, let's look at that again. In a standard sandbox, this support group is available. So you should not have to do that. But if you are importing in a live instance, it could be that you have renamed or changed or deleted this support group. So the importer needs this support group for people who are not in the group and blah. So please make sure you have the support group when you use the converter. And the last thing is please use a sandbox for testing first. So please don't simply import into your live instance, because you never know if everything will be the way you want it. So please always use a sandbox first. Zendesk is going to be very easy if you only have like a small account like a Plus or a Starter or whatever, and you don't have a sandbox. They'll upgrade you. They'll boost you to an enterprise level so that you can create a sandbox, test out, and then you can downgrade later again. But please make sure that you get a sandbox or create a new account or whatever so that you don't interfere with your live Zendesk instance first. And then actually what we recommend is a three-step process. We do have a test run here, which will only import a limited amount of tickets. And please do that with a sandbox. Then do a full import with the sandbox. And if that works out and everything looks fine, then you can import the whole stuff into your live system. This is how you should do it. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next steps here because I did all that. I have the sandbox, I have the support group, and I have deactivated our triggers and automations. Then I go to the next step. And here the magic begins. So we want to upload these users, 26 users, and this is the first obstacle that we'll hit. Is I'm going to try to upload 26 users, but we'll see after that is done that I only have a limited amount of agents that I can upload. Like in a open source system like OTRS, you can create as much agents as you want. It's all free, right? But with Zendesk, you have to pay for the agents. So you only have a limited amount of agents. And I'll hit that number here. So we'll look at that. So this is the results screen of our first process. Then it told me, look, root at localhost is not a properly formatted email. I couldn't import that. So unlucky me, but that's a definite rule in Zendesk. So I would have to rename that user in OTRS, or just note that all tickets from this user will be assigned to me. And then Seibert at seibertmedia.net is already being used by another user. No problem at all. This user is already existing. And then I have these problems here that I was talking about also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people who couldn't be imported because I have only 25 agents in Zendesk. So what are you going to do about this? It's quite easy. What we are going to do is we are going to degrade those existing agents to light agents so they won't count, and then we upload the rest. This is easy to be done. Like if you go into your sandbox, let's look at the magic first. So here are our agents, like 25 people. Now we marked them all apart from me myself, and then we changed the role to light agent, which is an agent role, so they can have tickets, but they don't count against your 25 user limit. So I'm down to 1, and I can import 24 additional agents. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click repeat step. Let me show you because the banner was installed. So we click here on repeat this step. Click. And then we're waiting again for the users to be uploaded. So basically, you can repeat that until all agents have been imported if you have too many agents. Actually, it didn't help with the root at localhost, and it didn't help with the user that was already existing, but all the others, they have been imported now. So let's look at our test instance again. Show me the agents, look at the number. Here we go. So now we have them all in our system. Perfect. Let's go to the next step. So next step is we want to upload the requesters, like the people who had a request. Please don't get confused by this number because it's at the moment falsely counted. So it's we have some doubled people here. I think it's like 57 people that are going to be imported. And then you have this progress bar. The page reloads every 10 seconds, and now we have like 54 already imported, and now it's 115. 65%. So here we are done. We also have another set of 3 errors, like this user was already existing. Same here, and we know that already. So, okay, let's look at the end users in our test system. Here we go. Now we have 57 end users. Nice. Next step. So we want to upload the groups. Actually, there's a, I didn't explain that. Automatically start next step if this process finishes without errors. So we didn't have a step that didn't finish without errors yet, but if you are on a very big instance and you want to, then you might have to wait. Like we had instances from OTRS where we imported data into Zendesk with 20,000 users and 60,000 tickets, and this is my mobile phone, I'm very sorry. Like 250,000 comments, and it took a week, day and night, 24 hours a day to upload all this stuff. Then this becomes very interesting that you can automatically switch to the next step. But basically you have to wait until it's ready, then you want to look at the errors probably, and then I'm going to upload these groups here. Let's go back to full screen so that you can see that. So it's on the way, done, no errors. Next step. Now we are, let's look at the, we can close this one. Look at the groups. Here we go, 23 groups from within OTRS. And with all the users that we had here also. This is quite cool, and it saved a lot of time because everything is automatically imported. So let's import tickets. No, sorry. First we have to import the attachments, which is only, I think, 1 here. And then we import the tickets. And then we'll import the comments. Like, this process is probably the one of those, like with the comments, that'll take the longest. I only import 100 tickets here, which will still take some time, but probably you'll have a lot of tickets, so this can take ages. It's kind of a problem because if you deactivate all triggers within your Zendesk in your live system, it's malfunctioning, right? Because it doesn't send out emails. So you'll have to find out how to do that. Probably you'll want to adjust the triggers so that things that come through the API won't fire off triggers, but your triggers still fire off if a normal email comes in. So basically, this is something either you know Zendesk quite good, or you consult with Zendesk or with us to make sure that you don't have a malfunctioning Zendesk system if you have a very big OTRS instance. But basically, if you are in a state where you're using your OTRS productively and you're thinking of moving to Zendesk, then it's quite easy to simply import because you are not using your Zendesk at this moment, right? And then you can start using Zendesk there. Okay, so this is finished now. We have 2 tickets that have not been imported. You can look at them in OTRS. Actually, there is no error message by Zendesk through the API, so I can't say why, but those 2 tickets will be missing. You may have to add them like manually. Or redo the process. So now we upload the comments. While we're doing that, I can show you that we already have unsolved tickets, like 99 instead of 1 at first. We don't have any comments yet, and we don't have statuses, but we'll see that. So we're importing the comments right now, so that's also waiting or taking some time. Yeah, and basically after this has been done with the comments and setting the statuses, we are ready already. So basically this is the Otrs Converter. I'll let you wait until all these things like work again fully, but basically this is how it works. So what you want to do is you want to download these converters for the right OTRS version that you have. You want to install it through the package manager. Then you want to try it out in a sandbox in test mode. Then you want to try it in the sandbox with the full load of your OTRS system. And then you want to import it into your live system. And please let me emphasize again, please turn off all automations and all triggers so that no emails get fired off. Okay, and while I was talking, the comments have been imported successfully, and now we still have to adjust the ticket statuses. Let me talk about ticket statuses real quick. If you in OTRS you can have multiple statuses. In Zendesk you can only have new, open, pending, solved, and closed, like 5 statuses. And what we're doing is, if you have like 50 statuses in OTRS, which is crap in my opinion, but you can have that technically, then we'll move all corresponding statuses to Zendesk. But if you have like those custom statuses, we'll make them all those tickets open. You will have to make sure either that before you do the import from OTRS, that you change those statuses to whatever, closed, resolved, whatever, or that you, after you find them in Zendesk, you change these statuses again. But this is an important thing, that these custom statuses from OTRS will not be, or will also all be open tickets afterwards. So this is ready. Also, I got a error with this ticket status, don't know what. Okay, and then let's have a reload. And then let's look at the sample ticket again. And here we go. This is the initial request. This is an answer, internal answer, and this is another answer. And actually they are all dating to August 2011, and which is, in my opinion, quite cool, because I can now have everything I had in OTRS in Zendesk also. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. There's a link here, there, Seibert biz/OTRS to Zendesk. Go there and find this video, find way more information, find a contact form where you can contact us and ask questions. The converter is free. It's open source. If something doesn't work, feel free to change the code, and feel free to contact us. We're happy to help you. Thanks for watching. Bye.